In the last video in this series, I showed you this case and I went through the entire transmission and showed you all the seals, all the sealing rings, all the lip seals that would need to be replaced if you're opening up the transmission and overhauling it. But there's one thing I didn't cover, and it is very important. I recently heard from a viewer who was having problems with their 7.2 2.3 transmission. It was not going into fourth gear. He said, you know, you go down the road and it would shift fine and then it just wouldn't go into fourth gear. And he told me that he changed the filter, he changed the fluid. You know, of course, he checked the modulator. But let's go back to a couple videos ago when I showed this live demonstration. You remember in fourth gear, when the transmission's in fourth gear, you have the K2 drum and the K1 drum engaged. Those are the only two that are rotating. So you have straight through fourth gear. So obviously you're going to say, well, hey, if it's not going into fourth gear, then there's something wrong with one of these drums, losing pressure. And I think you saw that when we took this apart, we were missing the sealing rings, so it wasn't getting pressure up into the drum. So he took his transmission apart, this is a while back, and he resealed the whole thing, put it all back together, put it back in the car, and it still wouldn't go into fourth gear. Do you know how discouraging that would be? He told me after trying a couple of other things that he discovered what the problem was. He didn't tell me this, but I assumed that by that time he was pulling his hair out. You know, we all end up pulling our hair out at some time working on these old cars. But he decided, hey, I'm going to change one more part, one more thing that I did not do on the overhaul. And guess what that part was? That's correct, the valve body right there. We got another used valve body. He just put it in and the transmission shifted into fourth gear. So I think you can understand this can be a problem. And a lot of people avoid doing anything with this. I know there are people on the internet that actually recommend you don't take the valve body apart because it's so complicated and you might lose some of the springs or balls inside. So you have this vision here of taking this apart and balls and springs and everything are flying all over. And there's no way in the world that you'll ever get it back together. So most people say, I'm just going to leave the valve body alone. Well, if you do that, because of the age of these and the contamination that could be inside the valve body and the sealing rings inside that could be worn, when you do that, you stand the risk of the transmission not working properly. But there is an advantage here because you don't have to pull the transmission. It's very easy to pull the valve body off. Now, I have to clarify that I don't think it's particularly easy to overhaul it. I'm just going to quickly pull this off. Most of the bolts are already removed and kind of show you what you're dealing with if you're going to service, repair, clean, whatever the valve body. It's held on by 15 long bolts. And I'm just going to pull these two out that I'd put in to hold this in place. Okay, the valve body comes off, just like that. And then you have this intermediate plate. And once you pull the intermediate plate, which has a gasket on it, you can see all these channels going everywhere. And I know if the first time you see this, you're going to think of a corn maze. And you're probably thinking, I don't want anything to do with a corn maze. But like the transmission itself, a lot of this is due to lack of knowledge and fear. If you don't know what's going on inside the valve body, hey, you're going to say, I don't want to take that apart. I don't want the springs and balls and everything flying all over the place. The reason I'm laughing, you hear this on some of the forums that, I don't want to do that. It's too much work. I'm going to just quickly open up a valve body so you can kind of see what's in it. And the goal here is to remove the fear that one may have when they approach working on this. Now, I know you're looking at my bench here and you're thinking, oh, I've seen videos like this on YouTube where guys just kind of take this all apart and try to figure out how to put it back together. Well, this is what you don't do. You don't just take everything apart and say, well, I'll figure out where it all goes back together later. The most important thing here that I need to pass on to you, because this is just an introductory video, is you need to do this with caution. You need to take photographs as you take this apart, and you need to make sure you know where every piece goes. And believe it or not, a camera Both video and still pictures can really help you when you go to put this back together. And the way this comes apart is there are 2 screws that have to be removed, and then you have to tip it back over so the bottom is facing up, and then you're going to lift it off. And you have to do this with care. I have a procedure that I'll be showing in my instructional video on how to do this without losing the balls in the spring. And then this has an intermediate plate, and when you take that off, you're going to find a few springs and some balls in here. They've all been removed. But that's what it looks like. And then you're starting to pull these things out of the side. You have to remove all these plates, and then all these things start falling out of both sides, the top, the bottom section. You're going, what in the world are all those things? These are accumulators. These are command valves. You have a whole bunch of different springs. Look at, they're all different sizes. So you cannot just take one of these apart and throw it all over your workbench. And I'm not going to go over in this video what all these things do, but there's a purpose for every one of these. And if I decide to provide a kit to overhaul a valve body, I will give complete instructions and locations of each of these parts. So I just wanted to show you in this video, this is something I strongly recommend that you think about when you're redoing your transmission. Don't go the route of, oh, I don't know if I want to open it up. Now, if the transmission that you're resealing has been working properly, it doesn't have super high mileage, you may end up being okay just to put the valve body back on, because remember, if you find out there is a problem with this, it's not that hard to pull the pan and pull it off. You don't have to pull the transmission out again. So the problems can be sealing rings, jammed command valves, just junk. You can have junk in all these little seats where all these little steel balls go. So what happens is, as the clutch packs wear and the material builds up into these channels, it can plug the command valves. And maybe that was what was wrong with that transmission that was not going into 4th gear. So my plan from here forward, as far as the valve body, is if I see there's enough interest, I will go ahead and resource an overhaul kit for this valve body for the 722.3 and the 722.4 transmission. And I will include complete video instructions on how to take this apart, clean it, put new seals in it, put upgrades in it as required, and put it back together and reassemble it properly. So in closing, I'd like to review. We started out in part 1 talking about those 5 key elements that control the shift sequence inside the transmission. And then in the next part, we talked about the actuators, the 5 actuators that actuate the key elements, and every one of those was a piston. And of course, we know that to activate the actuator, you're going to have some sort of hydraulic fluid under pressure. So, what activates the activation of the actuators? It's this right here, the valve body.